Okay.
Hello, our good people. Welcome to
Daughter Podcast.
Welcome back to yet another banger, another episode. We are so excited to shoot again.
Yes, we are
Yay.
excited to be here and we are very happy you've been following us. We still continue to get a lot of very good comments from you guys. So,
Yeah.
asante sana.
Thank you very much. And before we go to our today's topic, there has been mandamano in Kenya. We are rejecting the finance bill.
Yes, the Gen Zs have said, you millennials and Gen Xs, sit over
Sit
there.
back.
We'll show you how it's done.
Yeah.
Tumekubali, by the way. But on a serious note, we want to extend our condolences to everyone who've lost their loved ones, their friends, and condolences and take heart.
Yeah, may God see you through this difficult time.
Amen. Okay.
All right, on to today's episode. We are talking about beyond princesses, how dads can raise strong daughters who also are kind. Yeah, strong and
Yep.
kind individuals, strong and kind people. So, yeah, do you think I'm strong and kind, really?
Yeah, I think you're strong and kind. Of course, I have been there making sure that you're a very strong daughter and also kind at the same time.
Do you think
And
it's very...
compassionate.
Oh, sorry. Do you think it's possible to raise a strong and kind daughter?
Yes, it is possible. Giving an example of you and many others out there, by the way, there are dads who are doing a very good job.
Hey, from this mandamano, we've seen how we have very strong women, very
Yes.
strong girls. Oh, I'm happy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really happy about this generation.
Yeah, it's a very good show, and we are happy we are
Very
doing this
promising.
actually, because now it shows that the girls have decided, you know what, we are going to stand up and be counted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just seeing girls at the front line, it's very empowering and inspiring to
Yes.
even the other generation, Alpha. It's Alpha.
Yes.
Even
yes.
to the Alpha generation, I think it's very empowering. So, on to the first question. What are
Okay.
some strategies for dads to navigate conversations about gender equality and feminism with their daughters?
Yeah, these are pretty easy basically, and most of the dads are doing this. One of the things I do, especially for you, is to make sure I'm a very active and engaged dad. So,
Does that mean you being in my business all the time?
well,
Active in my business.
yeah, because when I'm all over your business, you find that you've grown your self-esteem, your confidence, even your academic performance actually improves, because when
Yeah.
I'm all over your business, I'll be like, oh, what are your assignments? Can we have a look at them?
Yeah.
I will give you some guidance on some of those assignments.
Yeah.
And then I will say, take it away. So being a very engaged and active dad in your daughter's life is actually probably the most important way to be able to navigate feminism and gender roles,
Okay.
especially within our community today.
Yeah.
The other one is I always encourage you to speak up, and to speak up in a nice way.
Yeah.
And that's why we are talking about kindness. You need to be kind to people. You need to be kind to your peers. You need to be respectful to your elders. But again, you're supposed to make sure you are heard, you know. So what comes to mind when someone talks about feminism is actually affirmative action, women empowerment,
Yes.
and women who are independent and do not need men. But actually, feminism basically is about empowering a woman so that she can enjoy or realize her full rights as a human being.
Yeah.
Therefore, when we are encouraging even the young boys to respect women, to work with women, then what we are doing is actually being feminists.
Yeah.
And I can proudly say I am a feminist father. And you know what? Fun fact, most men who, before they have daughters, always turn out to be a little bit of male chauvinists, but immediately they get daughters, everything changes and they
Yeah.
become feminists. So it's important for even men who only have boys, fathers who only have boys, to realize that they have some little feminist in them. And since our mothers, of course, are women, and the women our boys are going to marry, of course, are women.
Yeah.
So it's our prerogative to actually teach these young men and boys to respect women.
Yeah.
The other one is, and this one I do a lot often, encouraging you to take up leadership roles.
Oh,
It doesn't
yeah.
matter how small.
No, yours is not encouraging. Yours is pushing me to take up leadership roles.
Yeah, just being able to set up goals and break them down into small tasks
Yeah.
which are achievable, and you become a leader. Because we realize most of the girls out here, every time they try to become leaders, what happens is they are told, oh, you're being too pushy, you're being too outspoken, uko na
Yeah.
kiherehere sana. Those terms are the terms that we need to actually get away from our system. And we can only do that by embracing not divisive gender roles which
Yeah.
put women in certain boxes, but being able to just bring the boys and the girls together and applying what I call the 50-50 rule, where men and women can do either roles. It doesn't have to be defined by the gender.
Ish.
Uh-huh.
Hizo points zote. Okay.
Yeah.
Clearly, you are very prepared for this.
Yes.
I do not know what to add on that because I feel like you've exhausted everything, everything that I had in mind. So, you see, there are a lot of barrages when it comes to this topic of beyond princesses, being princes. So, what are some ways of countering this constant barrage of princess culture that bombard young girls? Because from a young age, even the dolls we play with, the Cinderella ones, they're the pretty ones, and the movies, the films we watch, they portray girls in a certain way sometimes. Nowadays, things are changing. Yeah, but before that, the things that we are exposed to are very different. So what do you say about that, sir?
Yeah, the princess culture, by the way, even when you get out of the movies and you come into African families, nowadays we tend to call our daughters, oh, those princess names. You call me and I'll be calling you mom.
Yeah, you actually call me mom.
Yeah. Yeah, my cute little princess. So that sort of gets into our daughters' minds.
Yeah.
And then they start feeling a little bit too pretty to get their hands dirty, if I can put it that way.
I'm pretty for that.
Yeah. But basically, I would want to direct their eyes to their moms. When you watch your moms work very hard.
Yeah.
They strive to earn as much as, or even more, than your dads. So therefore, when you're being a princess, you cannot just be a princess who sits down and waits for the man to provide. Cinderella stories are those exactly that. Fairy tales.
Yeah.
And fairy tales do not exist, especially kwa hii Gen Z, Gen AI.
Right now,
Yeah,
it doesn't exist. And yeah, it's important when you say us not sitting there waiting for men to provide for us. It's not about just men providing. It's also about you. One day, yeah, you can get that man who is happy to provide for you and who treats you nicely. But then life is very different, short, unpredictable. What if this man, for some reason, he's not there? God forbid he dies. How are you going to fend for yourself? Yeah, the man is providing. He's okay with providing. He's keeping you, the princess that you are, maybe hiring a nanny and someone to take care of you, and you don't have to touch anything. But what if this man, one day, he's not there? yeah, even if you have the inheritance in Naishanga, because you'll have to you'll have to take care of a few things in the house, and this inheritance one day itaisha. What are you gonna do? So you just need to be hands-on on some things. Even if you are now a stay-at-home mom, you've decided you're gonna be at home and your husband is there to provide for you, at least have the brains to know how to do a few things, if it's business, if it's knowing how to save in these circles and to invest. Yeah, it's princess, yes, but still princess with brains, princess who knows how to take care of themselves and how to panga themselves for the future.
I agree with you 100%.
Thank you.
Actually, some of those beautiful princesses you see out here, especially when you're watching sports, you see some girls who are pretty,
Yeah.
but they are so strong and they participate in some sports which even me as a dude, I'll be like, wait, that you
Yeah.
can lift 180 kgs. How? You know? So that's a princess we want to embrace
Yeah.
in our society. It's also good to actually feel good about yourselves, you know, get your nails done, get your
hair done.
your hair done, you know, get your lipstick on, you have your skincare routine. That's part of being a princess, and we appreciate that. But also appreciate the other fact that you need to actually get the work done for
Yeah.
you to be able to enjoy the fruits. There are some women in our society today who really inspire us.
Yeah.
And talking about inspiring women, who are some of these women in our society today that embody strength and kindness that inspire you?
There are a few. Okay, there are many, but I'm gonna say a few. Like, for example, there's this lady called Jackie Aina. If you're on TikTok, you know Jackie Aina, and I think even YouTube. So this woman, I'm avoiding to say chick. This lady is the embodiment of a princess. She takes care of herself. The way she does her things, sophisticated, so pretty. Everything is on point. But she's also very kind, in my opinion. She's very kind and she works so hard. Jackie Aina, I've watched her from Kitambo a bit on YouTube, and how she started doing makeup, how she started content creation. And when you see where she is right now, it shows you how very hardworking she is. She works so smart and she still takes care of herself like the princess she is. It's very inspiring, and she inspires many girls out here. And also when we come to Kenya, our Honorable Millie Odhiambo, she has really shown us how a strong woman should be. She has been she's very outspoken. She tells us how girls we should behave. Like recently she was saying, I'm very sure everyone has seen this video, maybe we'll insert it somewhere, when she was saying, we have to be
Bad girls.
We have to be bad girls because good girls don't get the corner offices.
Yes.
So I'm just like, yeah, she's very outspoken. I really love how outspoken she is. I really love how knowledgeable she is. And she knows her self-worth. She knows her rights. She knows when she needs to speak. She knows what to say. Like, she's always on point. Right now, every girl in Kenya is looking up to Honorable Millie. And talking about even the controversial topics that we think or we used to think they are not to be talked about in a certain place, like talking about sex. A while back, I wouldn't be in a position to say the word even in front of my dad. But who is Millie? In the parliament, she'll talk about it. And she's very open. She's very empowered to know, like, yeah, you can talk about everything. She's very knowledgeable. I can go on and on and on about Millie. I really can.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's so... I'm really looking up to her, actually.
Yeah, and to add on to that, there are some other women also who actually inspire me. Looking at the late Wangari Maathai.
Yeah.
She was the first woman. She won the let me
Nobel
just
Prize.
Say, yeah, she won the Nobel Prize. I mean, that coming from a woman who believed in certain things and was able to challenge some leadership, especially during the Moi regime. You Gen Zs know how the Moi regime was.
We have heard the stories.
Yeah. And I also want to mention other women who've also actually made me think, it's good to encourage my daughter to be strong, to be kind, to be able to speak up. And such women are like Honorable Charity Ngilu, who she's shown this country that even at some point when all women didn't want to rally behind her, but she was able to stand up and say she wanted to be the president of this country.
Yeah.
You know, she went through so much. Yeah,
and you could see how men were busy shutting her down.
Yes.
And even women, because we've not seen many women run for these positions. Yes. Or they're out there, and since we are not so exposed, we decide, we've never seen this, or who said a woman should be, or a woman can never be. And listening to the negative things of, women and their hormones, they can't lead or whatever.
Yeah. But now we have women presidents across the world. So we need to, fathers, we have a big challenge. We need to stand behind, by the side of our daughters to make sure that they achieve all their goals. And the Gen Zs are showing us that it can be done. They can be able to speak up for themselves. Doing it. And they have the knowledge. They're not being driven by, they're not just doing things blindly. They have the knowledge, they know what needs to be done, and they're actually doing it. And talking about strong women, how do you apply kindness in your daily life when you're still, while being a strong woman?
That's a good question. One way I try to be, I try. Okay. One way of just me being a strong woman and also being kind is setting boundaries, knowing myself and knowing my boundaries, and just putting my boundaries for even people. So even when I'm communicating my boundaries, already I know myself. I know how I am. I'm mature enough to know the things I like, the things I don't like. So even when I'm out there communicating with people, interacting with people, I know how to put my boundaries and how to communicate my boundaries in a kind way if the situation or if the circumstance is kind or peaceful, if I may say so. So just setting my boundaries and knowing my self-worth is one way of just keeping myself strong out there, and being also confident. Going to Daystar, my first year, I was so scared, and I didn't know how I was going to navigate through the school. I had my own reasons to be scared, but I told myself I'll pretend that I'm very confident. And that's how I started. So even during the orientation, when our orientation parents were asking us questions, I would act confidently. Like I would just answer them, like I would be loud. But in real time, in real sense, I just wanted the ground to swallow me or the world to swallow me. But for after pretending that I'm very confident and whatever, I found myself very confident without knowing. So I think it's a trick you can use if you feel like you're not as confident. Just pretending to be confident actually made me become very confident, and I got used to now being confident. Although in school, I don't really talk as much with the people who don't know me. I don't interact a lot, but to those who know me, they know I'm a very confident girl. There's this lady in our class. She went through my TikTok. She saw my TikTok at some point, and she came and told me, "Oh, you're so confident." And I was just like, yeah, it's because in school I really don't talk as much, but I'm very confident, and just learning how to be confident it was by chance, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and also seeking support. having a strong support system and just knowing when to ask for the support, when to ask for help, it's really important, because how do you navigate these things on your own? And if you have someone you can ask, why can't you use them? So I tried to use my dad anytime I can. I use my mom anytime I can. When I feel like I'm going like this, when I feel like I can't navigate through this, my mom is a very strong woman. Wow. She's the most independent and strong woman I know, and she inspires me a lot. By the way, she's one of the women who inspire me. Let me just be very honest.
Okay, good.
My mom, let's just take a moment to talk about this woman. Okay. So my mom is very confident, one. She's learned too. She's very, very, very smart. And she pushes. So when you have a woman like that, you learn how to be confident. You learn how to do things. So having her and just asking for her support and just seeing how strong she is, how she pushes things, it also made me a bit confident. So a lot of things came through, and now I'm confident. Now I can talk to my dad anytime I want.
Yeah.
And people will be asking, how do you do that?
Yeah, and your mom will watch this podcast and also tell us, oh, this one you should have said it this way, because she reads a lot. I don't think we can ever match how much she reads.
Yeah.
She's extremely knowledgeable. And again, that sort of through innate osmosis, we absorb that.
Yeah, I remember there's a time.
Osmosis,
There's a time she would read about something. Then when we are just having breakfast, she'll talk about what she's been reading. So even if you're not reading, you'll know what she's reading about. So through that, you also get to learn a few things. She has encouraged me to read a lot. She has taught me how to start doing my research. Like, you need to read about this. You need to read about this. So from her being a very strong woman, a very independent woman, she has taught me how.
It's okay. That's a border out there.
She has told me how to be confident as well, and just how to navigate through this life. So every time I see how she does her things, it's inspiring. Yeah, really.
Yeah. And also, not forgetting some of the few things that you've been doing just during your free time, like going to join the church choir. I think that has really improved the way you just interact with your peers, the other youth. Being in the drama club. Is that what you call it? Yeah, and just being able to engage with all the other youths and Gen Zs in the church. I think that has really improved your levels of kindness and your being strong. I know you can actually be very strong. That one, you can come out as a very strong leader, a very, you can stick to your opinion. And so
I do that to you a lot.
Yes. So when you apply a bit of kindness and realize that you need to be compassionate, that really helps a lot.
I also, I feel like, you parent, when you're educating us and when you're teaching us how to be strong and taking us to school, you see, just taking your daughter or your son to school is part of empowering them. So I think when you guys were pushing us to study, to read a lot, you didn't know, you were not prepared on how we are going to use this knowledge. So right now, we are busy confronting now the finance bill. We are busy talking about it. I heard you telling your friend when you were 19, 20, you didn't know anything about the constitution. You were just busy hustling. I think you guys were not ready on how we were going to be very, very empowered and very confident to just speak our mind.
Yeah, and like when I was 19, 20, I didn't know anything to do with the finance bill.
Yep.
All what I knew were the laws. I didn't even know my rights.
Yep.
It's very nice to see the Gen Zs understanding the finance bill.
And before even these demonstrations in our group in church, you remember during the drama
Yes.
the drama club.
Yeah.
We wanted to go for the finals, and the church was like, no, you guys, you can't go. And they had not communicated prior. There was a lot going on, and the way we defended ourselves, sometimes we'll push a bit, but I think our parents were just shook. Like, everyone was shook. They were like,
you are so headstrong, and you
they
stood your
didn't
ground.
know how to deal with us. And now I think
the only solution was to make sure you guys go attend, because that's
like,
you're
if we've
for.
decided this is what we want, that's what we want. And sometimes in this situation, when parents see us behaving in a certain way, they just don't know what to do, and they start blaming us. I think that's what our excellency was doing, calling us names. But anywho, we are not going to talk about it. So I think people don't know how to deal with us because they've empowered us so much, and now they don't know how to deal with an empowered woman. They don't know how to deal with an empowered son. So it's chaos, really.
It's chaos. And going back to the finance bill and some of the things that were being discussed there, I will bring this up. Why is it important for the youth, especially the adolescent girls, and the Gen Zs, to understand sexual reproductive health rights? Why is it important, and why was it one of the biggest things you guys were talking about during the Reject the Finance Bill?
You see, understanding the sexual reproductive health for girls, it's just about empowerment and their autonomy. When a lady understands their sexual reproductive health and rights, you'll be able to make very informed choices about your body, about what is happening. For example, right now, I'm not employed, which means I'm depending on my parent. There are some girls who they don't have anyone to depend on. So when we are very informed about these things, we'll be able to go to the streets to fight for our rights, because we don't have a choice. We'll have to go through our period every month. How do we take care of ourselves? Are we going to go back to the days when we were using rags? No, we need these things. So when we are empowered, when we know our sexual health rights, we'll be able to go to the street and fight for our rights, fight for the sanitary pads, for the prices for sanitary pads to be reduced. And for some countries, these things are free. So if the price is not very affordable, then they should be free. There's no need of increasing the prices for girls. Like, that's really wrong.
It doesn't make sense, because girls do not choose to be girls. And when it's that time when they have to use sanitary pads, it's important that the country actually goes ahead and sets aside some funds where these sanitary pads can actually be supplied to the schools and to girls for free. And that is supposed to be one of those things we don't even argue about. We don't negotiate. The government should know that. I believe all these leaders have daughters. Sometimes when you listen to them, the way they talk, you wonder, wametoka shimo gani? Okay,
maybe from their perspective, they're talking because they have the money. They don't care about that girl who is in Turkana, who is fighting to just get 100 shillings to buy pads. Like, you see, when you're not in the position of these people who are suffering, sometimes you're blindsided. So I think they just need to come back to the ground and see what is really happening.
Yes, I agree with you.
It's triggering.
I agree with you 100%. And fathers who have daughters out there, let us all strive to be very strong feminists, because now we understand what our daughters need and what our daughters need, what our daughters go through. So when you have, especially those fathers who have boys and also have daughters, apply the 50-50 rule. If it's time to set the table, let your son set the table today. Let your daughter set the table tomorrow.
When we know our rights, it will reduce the inequality when it comes to gender. We'll be knowing our bodies and what we need to do. We will be knowing which contraceptives to use. Growing up, we've been told when you're having your menstrual periods at the end of the month, they are painful. We don't know how much pain they're supposed to be. So people end up getting having endometriosis and it eating them up for many years without having knowledge on what is going on. We just think, yeah, it's the end of the month, we are supposed to be in pain, and some people are lucky, they never get the extreme pain. So having this knowledge will be able to have very informed when we are making decisions, we'll be having very informed decisions, having to know, hey, this period's this round, I'm in so much pain, I just need to go to the hospital. Knowing about our rights, having to know our sex rights. You'll know when to use contraceptives, which contraceptives to use. You'll know this about delayed pregnancies. You don't want to get pregnant at 18 or at 17 while you're supposed to be in school. So you'll be able to make a lot of rights, and no one will intimidate you. No one is going to push you down or just talk down upon you, because you are empowered. You know these things.
Yeah, 100%. And fathers out there, again, let's do our best to apply the 50-50 rule, especially when you have boys and girls.
Even our mothers.
Yeah.
Even our mothers, just dragging us to the kitchen. When you have a daughter, the first thing you do, drag them to the kitchen. How you need to know how to cook. Yeah, they need to know how to cook. But do you teach your son how to cook as well? Because at some point they'll leave alone.
Yes.
So even our mothers, we need to apply this 50-50 rule.
Yeah. When you go to buy dolls, don't buy the boys' monster trucks, and then you buy the girls' Cinderella dolls.
It's okay.
Get all of them. Yeah, it's okay.
Balance.
Yeah, balance. Get them, Lego games so that they can all practice STEM activities together.
Yeah.
And they can grow up knowing they can choose whatever they want to be when they grow up, not based on their agendas, but based on the knowledge that they have.
And how to balance this masculinity thing. Growing up, it was, you were not allowed to be even around boys. Instead of teaching boys how young women are and teaching me how boys are, instead of doing all that, you're just separating the ladies from the boys. Which difference is it gonna make? It's like the way women are being empowered and we are leaving the men aside. So right now, women are empowered. Men don't know how to deal with empowered women.
Yeah.
So it needs to be equal. We have to deal with this situation. We have to deal with the men and we have to deal with the women.
Yeah.
When you are raising your kids, strike some balance.
Yeah. That way, the men do not get surprises when they get a headstrong woman.
Yep.
And the girls also don't get surprises when they find, oh, my boyfriend can cook.
Yep.
He's not a softie. He's good. He was taught by a good mother how to cook. Yeah, so it's important.
Story of gangster points when you're gotten in the kitchen by your boys. I'm like, oh, gangster points in shuka. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
It's not supposed
so
to
you
be
should
like
not
that.
know how to cook for yourself. So yeah. Hey, tumeongea.
So tumalize.
Yeah, we should finish. We've gotten to the end of this episode. Do you have anything you want to add or subtract?
I can only say that it's important now.
Sorry, you're going to subtract when you're editing, so ni sawa tu. Okay.
Yeah. And I'll leave that in, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, what I can say is, as fathers who are also leaders, in our families and also in the country, we need to be, or rather, we need to stop being headstrong and listen. Yeah. When you listen, that doesn't mean you're being weak. Yeah. That doesn't mean what your leadership is doing is the wrong thing. Yeah. There's always room for improvement. And that means you're even a stronger person when you listen to the other generation. Yeah. Because trust you me, this generation, which is tribeless, which is very informed, and the next generation now, which can use AI to do things, we are going to be in a lot of trouble if we start being headstrong and saying, you know what, listen to your elders. And we are the ones who will take care of you when you're old. So. Yeah. So Let's listen.
Yeah. Thank you so much for getting to the end of this episode. Please leave your comments. What do you agree with us? If you don't agree with what we are saying, feel free to leave a comment as well and let us know your opinion, because we are in a free country. Everyone is allowed to express themselves. So yeah, please don't forget to subscribe, to like, comment, and share. And what do we say?
Let's continue spreading the love, learning, and laugh while at it. Okay, in this episode, we didn't laugh much.
Yep.
It was very serious.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll try curate some comedy lines and punchlines next time to try make mcheke. Yep. Okay, see you on the next one. Bye.